Chuck found himself stranded on a deserted island. His only companion, a volleyball painted with a smiley face, though it was just a volleyball, after all. But this gave Chuck tremendous encouragement, and he immediately began trying to start a fire by rubbing sticks together. He kept at it, and this time he finally succeeded. Come evening, he huddled around the fire, thrilled like a child, shouting with excitement. He even got to eat the seafood barbecue he'd been dreaming about. Afterward, he shared stories of his past with Wilson, who had long become his pillar of strength. Time flew by like a thief. 4 years vanished in the blink of an eye. Chuck's gaze was now unshakably resolute. Every inch of his body bore the marks of time. Wilson no longer looked the same as before. That day, Chuck was roused by a sudden noise. He went out to investigate and found it was just a plastic lid. As he watched the lid being blown over by a sudden gust of sea wind, a strange idea popped into his head. When the wind shifted, he could use the lid as a sail and escape this deserted island. Acting on impulse, he immediately began building a raft. He gathered plenty of wood, stripped bark to make rope, and finally used this rope to bind the raft together. He stripped every piece of usable bark, even resorting to using videotapes to make more rope. But in the end, it still wasn't enough. With no other options, he climbed to the mountaintop. There, he found a rope he'd once left behind for suicide. Now, that very rope became his lifeline. With the rope secured, he swiftly finished the raft. By sheer luck, the wind finally shifted that day. Chuck made up his mind. He took Wilson and the unopened package, set sail on the raft, and departed. He encountered the same massive wave that had capsized him before. This time, however, he timed it perfectly, hoisted the sail, and with tremendous effort, finally broke free. He escaped from the place that had held him captive for 4 years. Yet when he looked back at the small island, a pang of reluctance tugged at his heart. But no one could understand this ache, so he drifted alone on the sea, just him and a ball. In the days that followed, he quenched his thirst with rainwater and satisfied his hunger by catching fish in the sea. One night, a massive storm erupted. The sail was instantly torn away by the gale. Chuck had no choice but to cling tightly to Wilson, but eventually, he passed out too. When he awoke, Wilson was nowhere to be seen. Wilson had been swept far away by the waves. Chuck jumped into the water without a second thought, but there was nothing he could do. He could only watch helplessly as Wilson was swallowed by the huge waves. Chuck had lost his companion of 4 years, and his heart ached unbearably. He threw away his oars, thinking he might as well just drift along with the currents. Just as he was about to give up, a cargo ship suddenly appeared before him. Chuck was finally rescued. After his recovery, the company not only threw him a welcome back party, but also arranged for all his daily necessities to be taken care of. But now, all he wanted was to see his wife, Kelly.